Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sabrina and I am wearing my shirt that reminds me of Halloween, which can only mean one thing. It is pumpkin spice season and I am back with a pumpkin overnight oats recipe. This one is high protein. It is 25 grams of protein and 295 calories. So let's get into it. It's very delicious, but first, if you enjoy this video, please feel free to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. That helps me out a lot and lets me keep making more recipe videos for you. So let's get into it. I love overnight oats. I think it's a really versatile breakfast that you can prep ahead of time and it's going to help you meet your protein goals. So I have protein overnight oats almost every single week, but I do vary up the flavor. And so I'm really excited to be doing a variation of that this week with my pumpkin spice overnight oats. Now the recipe is relatively simple, not quite as simple as a creamy with only 4 ingredients, but we don't have too many more here. And in this video, I'm just going to make one, but for a week, I usually meal prep 4, but I don't want to bore you with all of that, so I'll just be showing you all of the prep for one overnight oats. Okay, so what ingredients are we going to need? Well, I am not sponsored at all, but I really like this PE Science protein powder. I like all of the flavors, but when it comes to autumn, this is the one you have to grab. It is the pumpkin spice flavor and is obviously going to add a lot of pumpkin spiciness to these oats. So I definitely recommend this one, but if you don't have it, I would recommend just using vanilla and going heavy with your pumpkin pie spice, which is also going to be another key ingredient. We would not be having pumpkin oats without pumpkin, so I get this one from Trader Joe's and it's just pure organic pumpkin. Of course, we're going to need some oats. I like to just use the old-fashioned rolled oats. I believe these are from Aldi. I add non-fat plain Greek yogurt to my oats. I don't think everyone does in all the recipes I've seen, but I feel like it adds a really creamy texture to it, and it also is going to boost the protein. So you could use whatever Greek yogurt you like, but this one is cost effective and has a lot of protein and has a good calorie protein ratio. So it fits all of my boxes. And then finally, you'll need your liquid of choice. I am getting my protein from my protein powder and from my yogurt, so I'm not too worried about getting it from my liquid. So I am choosing this Friendly Farms vanilla almond milk. The vanilla is not that strong, but I do feel like it works nicely in this recipe. And then something else I like to add to my overnight oats is just a couple grams of chia. Now, chia does have a little bit of protein, not very much for how little I'll be adding, but what I do like is what it does to the texture. It really thickens things up and also just gives it a little bit of interest as you're eating it. So I definitely recommend it. It has a lot of nutrients and minerals and chia seeds as well. So this is always a staple in my oats recipes. So when I am preparing my overnight oats, I would usually have like an assembly line here. And what I do is start with the dry ingredients first, and then I get into the wet ingredients. So for the oats, I'm just going to be using 1 serving of oats, which is half a cup or 40 grams. And as usual, I have my scale here because I'm a baker and it is the most precise way to measure anything. And so I can't use measuring cups anymore. In case you were wondering about my life history. All right, so 40 grams. Then today I'm going to be adding 12 grams of protein powder, which is not a full serving, but that's going to get me to my 25 grams with all these other ingredients. So that's always a tip I recommend, is play around with your recipes. If you want to boost this up to 30 grams of protein, maybe add 15, 16, 17 grams of protein powder, or go crazy and add a whole scoop depending on what your needs are. But I'm looking for around 300 calories, 25 grams of protein. So this is the recipe I have. Okay, great. Got my 12 grams. So next up in the dry, I use 4 grams of these chia seeds. Great. Okay, so now I can begin adding my wet ingredients. And something I do to kind of help me with prep is sometimes I will just measure the dry ingredients and then I'll pick it back up with the wet ingredients another day, because then you're going to have to stir and do all of that. So you can also sort of parcel this out or even enlist a team member. So I tend to do the dry ingredients and James does the wet ingredients, and that works out great for us. But anyway, we are going to be using about 2 tablespoons of pumpkin, so that's going to be 30 grams. Okay, now I'm going to add 100 grams of this non-fat plain Greek yogurt. And then finally, the liquid I put in last, and then I'll stir it all together, and I'm using half a cup or 4 ounces of this almond milk. Okay, it kind of looks cool. You can see like layers of oats about to be mixed together. So now I just give it a good stir. Okay, I've gotten them somewhat combined, and before I get too much farther, I want to add my pumpkin pie spice. I would say half a teaspoon to people who measure, but the one thing I don't really measure is my spices. So I'm just going to give it a good shake. And if you were curious about what's in this pumpkin pie spice, it is cinnamon, ginger, lemon peel, nutmeg, cloves, and cardamom, which are all such lovely spices that even though I'm not really into the pumpkin spice trend that much, I know says a girl who's making pumpkin pie oats, I think all of those are such lovely spices that, yeah, I do like the flavor. I think I don't like the artificial flavor that you sometimes find in some of the store-bought pumpkin spiced things. I can't really think of one that I really like other than the pumpkin spice cream cheese from Trader Joe's. That one they do very well. Okay, we have the oats all stirred up. It is looking cute. As I mentioned before, I like to prep this for the whole week. I'm only showing you one today, but go ahead and make yourself a batch for the whole week. It's gonna make your life so easy because then you can just wake up and have your delicious pumpkin overnight oats with 25 grams of protein and 295 calories. But I'm actually going to come back and show you them after they've been sitting overnight so you can see sort of how I plate it and how it thickens. I always think it's like a little bit unsatisfactory to just see it in the container. Let's see it all nice and we can talk about toppings and stuff then. So I'm just going to get it into the fridge and then I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so I am coming to you the very next day. My pumpkin overnight oats did their thing in the fridge and they are ready to go and they are looking fabulous. This orange color is all from that pumpkin and the pumpkin spice. And let me just get in here and show you a little bit of the texture. It's really very thick, which is how I like my oats. And then I just wanted to show you the macros for these oats. So each serving is 295 calories, 5.6 grams of fat, about 38 grams of carbs, and 25 grams of protein. So this bowl here has 25 grams of protein, which is a great way to start my day. I usually add toppings to my overnight oats, but usually that's berries. I don't think that's gonna go as well, so I have some ideas for you here. I think a banana is going to work well because it's pretty neutral and that has a lot of flavor, the oats do. Or some of these Biscoff biscuits. These work well with everything, but I feel like they work really nicely with the pumpkin spice flavor. And then two last notes. Because we use real organic pumpkin, I feel like this has a really strong pumpkin flavor. And for me, to balance that out, I needed to add some sweetener. So personally, I would definitely recommend adding some sweetener, but maybe give it a try and see how you like it, and then add your sweetener of choice. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, I wanted to show you these oats, not because they're particularly beautiful or anything, they just look like oats. But this is another recipe I like to do if I don't have pumpkin, is I basically do the same thing as the pumpkin spice overnight oats, but I omit the pumpkin. I still use the pumpkin spice protein powder and I just up the yogurt a little bit without that pumpkin in it. And I feel like this is a much more toned down, just kind of get a hint of the pumpkin flavor. So if you're not fully in the pumpkin spice camp, I feel like this is a nice gateway. If you are fully into the pumpkin spice situation, then definitely use a pumpkin spice, use a pumpkin spice protein powder, and enjoy your oats. So that's where I'm going to leave you all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this recipe. And if you did, please feel free to give my video a like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.